Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I don't know whether I'm upset, I don't know whether I'm emotional, I don't know what I am. But thank you for tuning in. It's your girl, Miss Dina 610. If you want to see my thoughts and opinions and my whole recap of the episode, stay tuned and I will be right back. Please excuse my junk in the back, and so on and so forth and things of that nature. But I don't know how I really feel about this episode. Not that it really matters how I feel about it, because I'm just here to recap what happened, right? Okay. So when it first comes on, we see Fantasia walking into the green screen set where I guess she usually goes to discuss, you know, the episode, you know, what you hear the producer or the director whoever stating that this was going to be a little different and they were just going to let her, you know, speak freely, differently than what they normally do, you know, where you see her come in and I guess she talks about the episodes or whatever. So she comes on and he's like, well, just walk me through what happened, you know, after you know, came home from the hospital. And so she just after she left the lawyer's office, I'm sorry, he asked her about what happened after she left the lawyer's office, and she was just saying that she was just tired about what happened in the suicide attempt. And she said that she took some sleeping pills because she felt like if she could just go to sleep and never wake up, that would be like cool in the game. So she was just saying she felt like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. She felt like, you know, everything was falling apart, and she was crying, and she was talking about the thoughts that she was having, and her makeup was just everywhere, and it was just real, and it was real genuine. And I felt bad for Fantasia, and I think this is probably the first time that I know, me personally, I didn't feel like it was just Antoine Cook. You know, you could kind of tell that it was just a culmination of everything that had been going on with her. You know, her dad had sued her. You know, people talked about her at Idol because she was young and she didn't have a diploma, and she had a baby, and, you know, just everything. You know, people always have something to say about anybody. But, you know, those of you that are real fans, you know the things that she has, you know, endured, and the different comments and the different things that have just kind of spun out of control in the media and that kind of thing. So, it was really, really sad, really, to see her broke down like that. And so next you see the call. They type out the call, the Charlotte 911 call that Brian made whenever he found Fantasia. Prior to them going into the Charlotte 911 call, he was saying that Fantasia had texted him and told him that she loved him, and that Fantasia knows that he's not a very like emotional type of person or whatever. And he texted her back and he said, I love you more. And he said that about 10 minutes later. Well, wait a minute. He told her, I love you more, and I hope you're not doing anything stupid. And so he said that 10 minutes later she texted him back and said, I already have. And so he got over there and walked in and found her apparently on the floor. I don't know where in the house, he didn't really say, but I'm assuming her room. I don't know. He did say that the doctor or the EMT told him that that had it been 30 minutes later, then it would have been a totally different situation, because her kidneys and her internal organs and things of that nature were already, they were going to start shutting down when they got to her. So, wow. Next, they show her in the hospital with all of the IVs and just stuff everywhere. And she's talking about how she was thinking about Zion. You know, when she realized she was still alive, she said she just immediately started thinking about her daughter and about, you know, her life. And she said, you know, it was foolish of her to do that, and stupid of her to do that. And you know, when she had Zion to take care of and raise, and that kind of thing. So a lot of the episodes she discussed Zion. She talked about Zion, and it was good, you know, for us to hear that she was concerned about her daughter, because, you know, when she first came back out and she was talking about it, she was saying that she wasn't thinking about anybody when she took the pills, but it's good to know that in the aftermath that she was thinking about her daughter. Then Aunt Bunny, they show Aunt Bunny, and she was just saying how that was just, all of it was just not a good look. It was just not a good situation. It just was not a good situation. And they began to show the media that was outside her house. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, they just showed up and they just started setting up tripods and trying to find out what was going on and all this and that. And so when they're interviewing, when VH1 is talking to Aunt Bunny, she looks out the window and she sees this man out there setting up a tripod and so on and so forth. So next they show Brian going outside and talking to one of the media men, and he's like, well, you understand why I'm here, don't you? We've got a copy of the hospital police report that says that she was in the hospital for attempted suicide. I mean, what do you have to say about it? And Brian just gave a very flat, you know, like he said, a blanket statement. You know, they start showing all these media blurbs and things like that, and just all these blurbs about her being with somebody's husband, frolicking with some married man in Charlotte, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She didn't commit suicide, tried to commit suicide, blah, 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 whatever. And then you had Aunt Bunny was trying to walk the dogs, and she said it's like no matter where I go outside of the house, which door I come out of, the media is there. And she like caught an attitude with this media guy. She was like, the answer's no comment. Okay, no comment. None. No. None. Okay. So apparently she was extra annoyed with all the goings on. Just see what I'm saying? So anyway, then they show Brian going into the hospital room. It's Fantasia and her assistant, and Brian is just, you know, encouraging her and telling her, hey, look, next time you feel like you're weighed down, just let me know and we will get you some help. We will get you the help that you need and the help that you obviously want. Just come talk to me. Don't let it build up on you like that. And he was just encouraging and letting her know that he loved her and he cared about her, and that the whole family did. And he was like, well, let me give you an update. And he went on and told her, you know, hey, it's all out in the media that, you know, you tried to commit suicide, da 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 da. And he was just, you know, filling her in. You see her family coming in, Aunt Bunny and her mom come in to see her. And it just so happens to be the last day that she's there, on her going home day. And they were laughing and joking, talking about no more needles and things like that. You can go home and be free and whatever. And Aretha Franklin calls Fantasia's cell phone, and Brian answers the phone and talks to Aretha Franklin. And you know, the conversation's going on, and Fantasia, I think Fantasia asked Brian to tell her, you know, I'll call her when I get home, or want to talk to her when I get home, or whatever. And she said she just didn't feel like talking to anybody. She just, you know, she didn't want to talk until she was really ready to talk. So which can be understood, which is totally understood. So she asked Brian, once he got off the phone with Aretha Franklin, what Aretha Franklin was saying. And let me read from my notes. It says that said that Aretha told Brian that there are only a few strong black women in the industry, and that Fantasia is one of them. And for her to go home and get herself together and get her A back to work, honey. Yes, get your tail back to work, sugar. Okay, go back out there and wow them crowds, okay, honey. So that was like her, that's my version, I guess, of the message that Aretha Franklin had for Fantasia, which I think is incredible. I think that if for anybody, you know, not even anybody of Fantasia's caliber or Aretha Franklin's caliber or whatever, but just as people in general, you know, when we go through rough places in life, it's always a good thing, a nice thing, a beautiful thing, something that makes you feel needed and makes you feel somewhat secure, when people will, it's almost like come to your aid or come to your rescue or come to your side or be an encouragement to you or love you regardless of where you are. So I think that, you know, even in Aretha Franklin calling, and then they also had, they showed where a lot of her friends were texting her and sending stuff. They showed like a card and some flowers from Jennifer Hudson and just a lot of different, you know, people, just to have people, you know, say, hey, I love you, you know, regardless of where you are and what you're doing, you know. I mean, just to have somebody in your corner, to have people like that in your corner, I mean, is worth more than anything, you know, anything. So it was just really, really nice, and it was beautiful to see, you know, that people weren't trying to call and see, you know, be nosy necessarily, but they were calling out of concern and sending flowers and cards and things and text messages out of a genuine love that they have for her. So that was just like super beautiful to me. Diane closes out before they leave the hospital in a word of prayer. And that was beautiful. That was so beautiful. So she prayed, and Fantasia got in the car and went home. And she said she was really, really feeling bad. Again, and she just kept talking about how she felt so bad for what she had done, you know, and not thinking about Zion and the whole thing. And she said she just wanted to go home and see Zion. So that was a good thing, that she wanted to just go home and see her baby and be with her baby. And then she said too that nobody told Zion what happened. They just made it like she just went out of town and she was coming back. So, you know, I think that's great also, you know, that they didn't necessarily put it all out there, you know, for Zion to have to, you know what was going on and so on and so forth. So they protected her from that. Then, alas, when she gets home and starts going through the text messages from friends and family and stuff like that, she gets like 3 text messages from Antoine Cook talking about, oh, I love you, I miss your eyes, I understand if you don't want to see me anymore. But then again, he was asking her to come and talk to him and see him face to face, whatever. And she was saying that she wasn't sure if she wanted answers. She wasn't sure if she, you know, wanted to see him, if she wanted closure, if she didn't want closure, because everything was just still so fresh. And so she did agree to meet him. Next week we're going to be able to see the meetup in the park. And I know when it was starting to get into the meetup, maybe it's just my brain was off. Maybe I was just so into the episode that I just missed the whole connection of this is next week. Look, my bad, okay? But I guess next week they're going to discuss how it became like, and I'm sure all of y'all know, you know, if you're watching this review, then 9 times out of 10 you like you some Fantasia is what I'm assuming. So you seen where it all blew up, you know, right before the show was getting ready to come on, right before the album came out. They had pictures surfacing around the internet that she was meeting up with him, and they were supposed to start moving in together, and all this stuff was a publicity stunt and so on and so forth, and they was just meeting to be meeting, and it wasn't nothing. But then sometime somewhere in there, I know I heard, you know, hey, it's for the TV show, blah 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 blah, whatever. So I guess that's next week, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was very it was emotional again, just like last week. Nothing to really make fun of. No teeny, and it's kind of sad. I mean, it's nice to know her side of the story fully, completely on her own show, where it could be put out there the way that it was for her, and not just in like interview segments or whatever. So that was nice to know. I'm glad that she's back out on the road. I'm glad that she's okay, if she is. I'm hoping that if things get to be too much for her, that she will speak out and say something. Because I know her schedule's got to be grueling. You know, with the new album, it's just like that, I guess. But anyway, y'all, let's just keep praying for Fantasia, you know, because everybody needs a little prayer. I need some prayer. You need some prayer. She needs some prayer. They need some prayer. Let's just pray for everybody. How about that? How about we just go to the Father and we just pray for everybody? How about that there? So anyway, it's your girl, Miss Tina 610. Hope you enjoyed the review this week. Y'all make sure that y'all check out my other videos, and don't forget to thumbs up, comment down there, and also subscribe if you like what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm telling you to, but because you like what's going on. So anyway, it's your girl, Miss Tina 610, and I will catch y'all on the next video. Peace and peace. Bye.